drone high, hovering, ready to fly over Refuge Ranch, where we live here in Mexico, so that I could get some video to use in future publicity for the ministry. It was hovering over the neighbor's land when suddenly it surged backward at a high rate of speed and out of sight. Well, we climbed over rocks and brush on the neighbor's land, not knowing exactly where it had ended up. Well, the neighbor had apparently been watching the hovering drone and saw where it had gone. He retrieved it and brought it to me. It apparently had crashed badly because 2 of the 4 propeller armatures were broken. The problem was a loss of signal. The drone no longer was receiving a signal from the transmitter controller I had in my hands and went out of control to a crashing end. I thought it had a return home if loss of signal feature, but obviously it didn't work. The disconnection from the transmitter controller proved to be a disaster. Now, telling this story about the drone crash is, I guess, my effort to redeem something good from what happened. And the redeeming value is that it's a good reminder of how we need to stay connected to God, like a drone needs to stay connected to its transmitter controller. There's a classic saying, if you feel far from God, guess who moved? Well, God's intention is to have a close relationship with us, but we have a choice as to whether that happens or not. The prophets, as recorded in the Old Testament of the Bible, were always delivering God's message for people to turn to God or return to God if they had once been near to Him. Before you fly a drone, you have to pair the drone with the controller, making sure they're properly connected before you have the drone fly off. Similarly, in a relationship with God, it has to be initially established. We have to be paired with God. Now, it's the biggest decision we can make in life, whether we want to be seriously connected to God in the ultimate relationship during the remainder of our lifetime here on earth or not. He wants it, but the question is, do we? Now, once the drone is airborne, it needs to maintain the connection to the controller. I found that out the hard way. If not, most drones are programmed to return to home, which means to the spot from which it took off. Now, for me, this was the second time my drone had headed off to parts unknown. It was prone to wander. Unfortunately, it didn't return home. Well, we too need to use what we could call the return to home function, the function of our faith, because we have a tendency to drift from God, even if we've decided to make Him the most important part of our lives. The hymn, "Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing," has the line in it, "Prone to wander, Lord, I feel it. Prone to leave the God I love." So true. The neighbor handed me my broken drone, and I held it in my hands, sad that it was broken and could no longer fly. Now here's where the illustration of the drone breaks down when it comes to our spiritual life. With God, even if we disconnect from Him and crash our lives, we are not beyond repair. After all, He's God. He can do anything, even fix us and restore us to Himself. The closing line of the hymn I quoted just a moment ago goes like this: "Here's my heart, O take and seal it for thy courts above." Well, the courts above refers to heaven, the ultimate return to home destination. I want this for myself. You too? The Bible says in Psalm 145, verse 18, "The Lord is near to all who call on Him, to all who call on Him in truth." God bless you.